Hello and welcome to the Football Parliament podcast, your one stop destination for all your football debates, opinions, and discussions. With yesterday's loss against Aston Villa, Chelsea have almost completed a roller coaster of a season. After being the highest spenders in the summer transfer window, the club had a mixed start to the season, after which they went to a 19-game unbeaten run, followed by a disastrous spell that saw manager Frank Lampard being sacked. There was a completely new revival under newly assigned manager Thomas Tuchel, but then again, towards the end of the season, the Blues toppled a little with their losses against Arsenal, most notably against Leicester City in the FA Cup final. However, they have managed to squeeze into the top four, and now it is the all important UEFA Champions League finals in 4 to 5 days. But for today's video, we have decided to make a tier list of each and every Chelsea player. Uh, we will be ranking them according to their performances in the 2020-21 season as a whole. So for today's podcast, I've got Chirag, Tanish, both of which are Chelsea fans, and myself. I'm so excited for this one. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, Balash.
Right then, a tier list video is something that all of us love. I have made 5 different tiers over here: world class season, a great season, a decent season, an underwhelming season, and a poor season. I've got 22 players that have featured in this season. I haven't included players that have barely played, so only the major ones. Starting with the first choice goalkeeper, we're going position wise. So Edward Mendy. Chirag, where do you think we should have Edward Mendy in this tier list?
I do not think any other player deserves more credit than Edouard Mendy for the great defensive record Chelsea has. Obviously, our defense was superb, but in big matches, Edouard Mendy has just stepped up. And considering the fact that Edouard Mendy, if he did not take the football opportunity seriously, he would have been a vendor at a cloth shop right now. And now he's going to play a Champions League final in a week or so. So according to me, he is world class, nothing less than world class, because he has been performing day in day out, has most number of has a long spell of clean sheets, matching records of Peter Cech. And if we are comparing someone to Peter Cech, that guy cannot be below world class.
Danish, what about you? Where do you think we should put Edward Mendy in
Yeah,
this
I
tier
think
list?
I'm going to agree with Chirag that he has been world class over this season. I'm a bit worried for him because he probably has injured himself, as Thomas Tuchel said yesterday. He's experiencing pain in his ribs, so he might not play the Champions League final, and that will be a big blow for Chelsea if that happens. But apart from that, he has kept a lot of clean sheets. He has stabilized our defense. He has pulled off some great saves, and most notably, the problem of set pieces that Chelsea had last season. Edouard Mendy has been an instrumental part in actually trying to rectify that situation, and so we have rarely conceded from set pieces this season. So definitely world class for me.
That's a very good point. So the first player over here, Edward Mendy, directly into world class. Now we move to the second choice goalkeeper, Kepa Arrizabalaga. He had a poor start to the season. I remember him making mistakes against Brighton, Southampton. Shortly after we signed Mendy, he was shifted to the second choice role. But then in the middle, we saw sparks of a revival, especially in the FA Cup when he kept a string of clean sheets. Also, a few Premier League clean sheets against, I think it was Newcastle, and then also a clean sheet against Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-finals. So obviously, he won't be world class. I think as a second choice goalkeeper, I would put him in decent. Decent, yes, would be my call. Tanish, what about you?
Yeah, spot on. I think decent. He did not have a good start to the season, but I think taking him off of the spotlight has really helped him to actually stabilize his career and regain his confidence bit by bit. So as he's back up now, I think he's a very good backup keeper. So decent season for me, definitely.
Do you agree, Chirag?
Definitely, he's one of those players who saw himself reviving under Tuchel. And I'm saying one of many players because many of them coming up, we will be discussing the change that Tuchel brought in them. So according to me, yes, he is very good. And if he is going to agree as a backup keeper, I'll be nothing more than happy, because having him as the backup keeper gives me some confidence.
Definitely. Moving on to the right back slash right wing back, Reece James. Tanish, your take on Reece James.
Yeah, I've been nothing short of impressed by Reece James this season because I always knew that there is a proper player in there, but this season he has really taken that up a notch. Yes, his goal contributions are not that much because our attack really hasn't stepped up this season, but the assists, the sorry, not the assists, the deliveries into the box, the strength that he has, the recovery pace, the defending, and the positional sense that he has, I think that makes him a complete fullback or a wing back under Tuchel's system. I don't like him being shifted to the right centre back role because that completely negates the attacking strengths. But apart from that, I think he has had a great season. So definitely he'll go into great.
Great is something that I agree with as well. Chirag, what about you?
See, I also agree with the Tanish here because great is a place where obviously Reece James has proven everyone wrong this season. This season he is in contention over the likes of Van Bissaka, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kyle Walker for the English squad. Definitely a great option.
Definitely. Now we move on to the captain of the team, Dave Sazas Piliqueta. Uh, wasn't played a lot in the back four. Started the season. Tuchel came over, shifted to a back three. Was probably the best fit at right centre back. Also brought in some much needed leadership skills to the side. Currently playing at right wing back. Uh, I think that if you look at the season as a whole, he wasn't particularly impressive in the first half, but since Tuchel has came over, he has been good. Obviously, hasn't been world class, but always gets the job done. I'm a bit confused between great and decent, so I would leave it to you guys, starting with Chirag.
See, if we are talking about Azpilicueta, you cannot just talk about his game, but you also have to talk about the captaincy or the leadership he brings. This season was nothing less than a turmoil for Chelsea, losing a manager who is the legend of the club and still holding on to the young squad that we have right now. I definitely think that requires some gut and some real responsibilities. According to me, the captaincy lead point of view adds him to the great category, and definitely if he continues for 2 to 3 more seasons, he will be helping a number of talents number of talents being grown at the Chelsea academy as well. So definitely a great option, and he is nothing less than a legend to me right now if he lifts the trophy this week.
Danish, what about you?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say great because I love the man. I mean, every performance is a 7 on 10 minimum, and every time he steps on the field, I can see that he bleeds blue. He embodies what Chelsea means. The passion, the aggression, the captaincy, and the constant effort that he tries. And yes, he's not that impressive as a wing back, but his defensive solidity is something that which has been so consistent over the past few years that he has been a mainstay. No one has actually even thought of selling Aspilicueta to another club. So I'm going to put him into a great season. Although he did not play under Frank, I think Reece James overtook him in that period.
Yeah.
But apart from that, after Tuchel, I think he has been one of the major reasons why we have kept so many clean sheets. So yeah, definitely a great season for me.
Moving from one player who did not play a lot under Lampard to one player that actually played most of the minutes under Lampard is Kurt Zuma, who started the season very, very well. One of the highlights of his season is the fact that he scored 5 Premier League goals, which is just 2 goals less than our top scorer, Jorginho. If you think about it, it's actually crazy. But not just the headers in the opposition box. The way he started the season, it was extremely well. He was winning literally every aerial duo in our own box. Probably went a bit out of favor since Tuchel came over and has barely played since. I think he was to be blamed for a few of the goals, particularly one against Southampton, which was scored by Takumi Minamino. Overall, I think that he's not played enough in the second half of the season. First half, yes, he played enough. He was good, but then the defense as a overall unit wasn't that good. This is why I would put Kurt Zuma in decent. Might sound a bit harsh, but this is what I think. Chirag, what about you?
See, if we are talking about two halves, for the first half, I'll put him in the great category because he was once our top scorer in the Premier League or something. But for the Tuchel's part, I would put him in the underwhelming category because whenever he was on the pitch, the defense did not look so strong, and we conceded 2 or 3 goals. Not just the Southampton goal, the goal against Arsenal, where Jorginho had to made a mistake that were more about Kurt Zuma not being in position. And whenever he has come on, he has made a couple of mistakes. So I'll put him in the decent category.
Tanish, do you agree with decent?
Yeah, I think like people are going to feel that we are going to be harsh on Zuma simply because he hasn't played recently. But there are some of the aspects to his game which I really don't like. I mean, the sheer time on the ball that he takes is looking at him have the ball and keep the ball is so exhausting that I actually feel that no one should even pass him the ball. And that Jorginho, yes, I think Jorginho should get the blame, but that pass to Jorginho was a little bit. It took a little bit too long, and hence we conceded. Blah blah blah. But the point of the fact of the matter is that I don't feel that he is good enough to be in Tuchel's back three currently. So, considering that he had a very good first half to the season, I'm going to say decent.
Right then,
He's the only
moving.
player I'll say. We say that it is easy to defend in back three, but according to me, he's the only player I say who fits more in a back four rather than a back three. I also don't know why.
Well said, well said. Yeah. Moving on to one player who's performed brilliantly in the back four and the back three as well. A summer signing from PSG, Thiago Silva. My verdict would be straight. I would be clear with this one. I think that Thiago Silva, he's not played a lot, but whenever he has played, he has been world class. What about you, Chirag?
Definitely, and you are saying he has not played much. He has played the most important games for Chelsea. Whenever we wanted, he has played games. He has given everything he can, and definitely world class. And definitely plus one heads up for the way he pulled off Amate. That guy deserved it, and we see he bleeds blue now. Obviously, this guy bleeds blue now.
I think even Tanish will agree with world class. So I would like to add this thing that it just doesn't feel that Thiago Silva has been at Chelsea for only one season. Because the things that, firstly fighting with Amate, but if you all remember, he actually wiped his nose off his Spurs shirt start of the season. So even with all of the stuff going on with his wife being a true fan of the club, it just feels like he's been at Chelsea since forever. So and he's been great on and off the pitch, I'm sure. So world
Tanush,
class.
but
Also,
just a point, you need to stop the Spurs agenda now. They are the reason we are in the Champions League.
yeah,
Yeah,
just one more thing. Even Thiago Silva's son is in Chelsea's academy now, so I think he plans to stay in Chelsea for like 2 3 years, and that just makes me so happy, like to have such an important person at the club. So yeah,
Yes,
world
and
class definitely.
Thiago Silva has committed himself that he will stay in London even after his retirement. So that will be something very good for Chelsea.
yeah. So moving on from Thiago Silva to one defender, which I personally feel off late has been even more impressive than Thiago Silva. It is the man with the mask lately. It is Antonio Rudiger. First half of the season, he actually, if people actually think that he wasn't good in the first half of the season, it's actually that he played the less important games and actually kept a clean sheet. But you could say that he didn't have a lot to do. So it was a decent first half of the season. But in the second half of the season under Thomas Tuchel, he's been nothing short of world class. So looking at the season as a overall, the Frank Lampard half, the Thomas Tuchel half, I would give Antonio Rudiger great. What about you, Chirag?
See, definitely. This is also a game of two halves here. Antonio Rudiger was on a brink of leaving Chelsea in summer, and that to Tottenham's Hotspurs, if I'm not wrong. Definitely, this guy rejected the move because he did not want it to. He could have reunited with Jose Mourinho, but he did not go there. And I love him for the fact I told about Thiago Silva being a true blue. We cannot forget him in his press conference. He's not afraid to call out Amate and say, Guys, you do not know how to celebrate. They will teach
Yeah,
you how
yeah,
to celebrate."
definitely. Right then, so do you agree with great
Yes,
as well? Oh,
yes,
sorry.
yes.
Right, Tanish, your take on Andreas Christensen.
Honestly, I'm a bit torn about between great and decent. I'm going to put him in great personally because yes, he's not good under. He was not good under Frank Lampard. But under Thomas Tuchel, I've seen that he can really play very well in a back three, and the organization the defensive organization that he has bought whenever he has played, I think he has been massive. He just when Thiago Silva was injured, he just substituted him in such a calm and a soothing fashion that we did not concede goals at all. We were still keeping clean sheets. There was still that same defensive organization element to it, and his ball passing ability is something which is quite underrated. So I'm going to put him in great, to be very honest.
I agree. I
Danish,
agree.
well, sure.
Under yeah, Thomas
And
Tuchel,
go
there
ahead.
was a time where Thiago Silva got injured, and that's exactly when Andres Christensen stepped over. I think it was the Tottenham game when he was introduced as a substitute, and he actually played so well that he was nominated for this Player of the Month award. So yes, I agree on great. Chirag, your take on sorry, my bad. Your take on Ben Chilwell.
Definitely, many people have classified him or put him under the radar so badly because he was a direct rival and they wanted him to step up so easily. But according to me, he is the best left back we currently have. This guy was brilliant in the very first half of the Frank Lampard's era, and of late he is proving us all wrong again. Obviously, when we are playing with the wing backs, Alonso is one of the best in the whole world, but this guy has shown that why I deserve over Alonso even in a back five, and in back four we do not even have an option other than Ben Chilwell. You cannot go to select anyone over Ben Chilwell in this situation. And according to me, he will be a great option. According to me, not just decent, great because he had put in numbers that no one has. He has been great against the likes of Vinicius Junior. He has like being blocking big names, and we do not even realize that he has done that.
Yeah. So your verdict is great.
Yes,
So is mine. I will also stick to great. Tanish, do you agree with great?
Yeah, great, because I feel that he is the third best left back in the Premier League currently, and his defending is something that I've been really impressed with. I mean, in the big games, he has stepped up defensively, and I don't think he has made an actual error. Yes, he's sometimes he can be a bit more one-footed than we
Yeah.
would like, but apart from that, really no problems with him. He is good going forward. He's very good at the back, which I was pleasantly surprised about. And
Same.
even under Lampard, he was very good. So I think I'm going to put him in the great category.
also he has that leadership quality. I don't know if someone has noticed or not, but he has that instinct in himself that he can lead a team.
Agreed. Moving on to the other left back slash left wing back option would be Marcus Alonso. Had a poor start to the season, like many other players on this list, especially that game against West Brom. There were reports that he would never play in the Chelsea shirt again, but then change in manager brought change for him as well, which was short lived because now we can see that Chilwell is again our starting first choice left wing back. But when he played, he was quite impressive. I still remember the one goal he scored. I think it was Burnley. He took it an amazing volley. So he has been decent. I won't say he's been underwhelming. He was underwhelming at the start, but he hasn't been given that much minutes that we can judge him to be underwhelming. I would put him in decent. Tanish, what about you?
Yeah, I think spot on. First half of the season, he did not play at all because he had that bust up with Frank Lampard after the Brighton game. But even under Tuchel, he had that little bit of revival. But immediately, he's such a polarizing left back that yes, you have that attack offensive capabilities in the box. You are great and all that, etc., etc. But his defensive positioning is horrible. His recovery pace is really not up to the mark, and he struggles in games which has wingers going past him, and he has really struggled defensively even under Tuchel. So, but apart from that, he has been good going forward. He has contributed some important goals. So I'm going to put him in the decent category.
Yeah. Now we're done with the defenders, and the fact that we don't have a single underwhelming or poor reflects the kind of defense that we have had, particularly in the Thomas Tuchel era.
That will
Goalkeepers,
change now.
defenders. Yeah, totally. It will change now, obviously, especially with the forwards. Before that, we do move to midfielders, starting with the Croat midfielder, Mateo Kovacic. This is a tricky one. This is a very tricky one because at times he's been the best player on the pitch. At times, you can say, probably like yesterday, he hasn't been that good. Uh, Tanish, I'll keep it straight to you. Why do you think Kovacic should be put in this list?
If if he would have been of any use, like say even 5 goals or like 3 assists or 4 assists, even then I would be inclined to put him in world class. But now he just does not provide you any goal threat at all. But in the middle of the park, his energy, his passing, his turns, he literally made the press breaking ability. All of that is so important to Chelsea that we actually need to play him in every big game. So Kovacic has had a great season for me, I think, but some might disagree. But apart from that, he really needs to step up his goal contributions to actually take him to that next level. There is a player in there, but he has to step up in the biggest occasion, is what I'm trying to say.
I agree. I agree with the fact that he needs to have a bit more of goal contribution, but that won't be enough to overlook stuff like he's been extremely press resistant. His runs, his breaking forward runs through the park, even long balls at times. I think he's had a great season. Chirag, do you agree?
But I'll still put him in the decent category, considering he was our player of the season last year. He has not stepped up to the same level this year. He has been playing well of late in the starting of the season, but not according to me the expectations I had from him. I expected him to run through the line, something what Mason Mount is doing. He should be helping him in that. Rather, he's taking a very back according to me. It has to be a decent category according to me.
So I think we're having a two versus one situation because of which we'll have to put him in great. Tanish and I have gone for great, whereas Chirag, understandingly so, has gone for decent. But then Mateo Kovacic finds himself in the great category. We move on to his duo partner in the pivot. It's Jorginho, a player that has been under a lot of criticism, a lot of scrutiny, a lot of controversy. But I would really like to say that at times he's been poor. There's no denying, especially games you could see West Brom probably where he gave the ball away many times. Arsenal where he was the cause of the lone goal, but at times he's been the one who has controlled the tempo of the entire game. And I've been very impressed with Jorginho. Many would say that he's been decent. I would personally say that he's been great. Chirag, what about you?
See, if you remember our video of the team of the season, I even put him in the team of the season, a Premier League team of the season, according to me. This guy has been ruling midfield for us. Obviously, he has made mistakes that we cannot compensate right now, but definitely he has been ruling midfield in absence of Kante. If we consider when he was injured, he has been performing really well. A great category for me.
And Chirag, do you agree? Oh, sorry, Tanish, do you agree with great?
I think I'm going to agree with Great simply because of his goal contribution. I think 7 goals, and he's our
Yeah,
Premier League
he's a
top
top
scorer
scorer.
somehow. So I think we've
Top
got to
scorer,
respect
yeah.
that fact. And not just that, he has controlled the big games. As I remember, Liverpool, he was fantastic. Liverpool away. And even I think Tottenham, he was very good. Yes, he has had some
Man City away.
inconsistent moments. And West Brom one, Arsenal another. And many a times he gets skipped past.
Yeah, yeah.
There are some things that he needs to work upon, but I think this season, given how important he has been, we can clearly say that when Jorginho has a bad game, Chelsea has a bad game, and that just shows that how important he truly is to the team. And I'm going to put him in the great category.
Right then, next up is you can say Chelsea's highly rated player in the European stage. I mean, if you think of Chelsea 2 years back, you'd be thinking of Eden Hazard, but right now you'd probably think of N'Golo Kante because of the kind of prowess he has had. This season, where do you all think he should fit in? Pretty sure it's between world class and great. So, Tanish,
And
starting with you.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm so tempted to put him in world class right now, but looking over the course of the season, I think injuries have ravaged him this season. There was a fair chunk of the season that he has missed due to injuries, and there was a point of time where he dropped out even out of the Tuchel squad because he wasn't
Yeah.
playing as well. But in the big games, oh my God, did he step up? And the way he stepped up, like it was so noticeable, his effect and his energy. It was so vibrant that it actually got the team going. He was the catalyst that actually pulled us through the knockout stages. So I'm going to put him in great category.
I agree. Personally, if you look at the number of games that he's missed, you would probably think that decent or something like that. But then you look at the big games, you look at Manchester United, you look at Atletico Madrid, you look at Real Madrid, and he has been the
Really.
best Chelsea player, yeah, in all of these games, because of which I will put him in great. Chirag, your opinion on the same?
No, I completely differ with both of you in this. We are seeing the prime N'Golo Conte back, guys. What has happened? And Palash, you said that before 2 years back, you would have called Eden Hazard Chelsea's best player. 2 years back, he was PFA Player of the Season. He was the one carrying Chelsea. He was, according to me, he's getting his prime back. He dismantled Real Madrid alone. We are in the Champions League final because of N'Golo Kante. Chelsea scored 2 goals in the second leg. Both of them were pre-assisted by N'Golo Kante. How can you like even go for it? Zidane's biggest problem was N'Golo Kante. According to me, he
Look,
goes to
it's not
world
just
class
about
simply.
those few
One
particular
thing,
games, especially with the fact that, yes, this season or even this particular year, which is 2020, you would feel N'Golo Kante is world class. But mind well that we're taking the entire season in consideration. If you look at the number of games he's missed, especially the start of the season, he wasn't particularly that impressive. There were, baseless comments of him being finished, which weren't true, but then also showed that he wasn't playing that well. He missed a lot of games because of which I think the grade is justified.
And according to me, we were talking about goal threat. Any of the three midfielders we have currently, the three we have mentioned, the biggest opportunity anyone creates is N'Golo Kante. We cannot forget this fact as well that he's contributing more and more. Tuchel calls him NG, and the way Tuchel and him are bonding well, I am giving you the prediction. He will run the midfield in the Champions League final. If Chelsea wins the Premier League, he will be. Oh, the Champions League, he will be the reason. Take it in it.
Right then, Chirag is gone for world class. I've gone for grade, so the decision lies with Tanish now.
yeah, I said great. Yeah,
Right, you're
I
sticking
said
with
great.
grade. Then we will have N'Golo Kante as grade. Moving on to the young Scottish midfielder Billy Gilmore. He's not played a lot for obvious reasons because he falls in the pecking order behind N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic. But whenever he's played, I think he's been very impressive. I think he won the man of the match against Krasnodar on his full UCL debut, if I'm right. Also, few good cameos. Even against Manchester City in the league, I think he was quite impressive. But then again, it's the game time because of which I feel like we'll have to put him in the decent category. What about you, Chirag?
Yeah, decent category. I don't think we have a lot of discussion to have about him due to his small number of games, but definitely a decent category.
Do you agree, Tanish?
Yeah, I think I'm going to put him in decent, of course, but this is something that he should be proud of, like, because
Definitely.
whenever he has played this season, he has been so good to watch. His decision making is very good. His passing is something that I've not seen from quite a long time from a Chelsea midfielder. He
Yeah.
actually reminds you of the old fashioned, you know, somewhat miniature central midfielders like the magicians, Iniesta, Xavi, etc., etc.
Fabregas.
There is that somewhat flair to him, but he needs to play more to actually step up that game and to show who he actually is. Maybe a loan next year will help him, or next 2 years or something like that. But for right now, definitely, given the game time he has got this season, it's really been lack of chances for Gilmore. So I'm going to put him in decent.
Right then, Tanish, also your take on Callum Hudson-Odoi.
I'm going to be harsh here. I'm on Callum. I love the player. I see something very similar to one of the explosive wingers, one of the best explosive wingers in Europe, which is Sadio Mane. I really see something very similar. But when it comes to Callum Hudson-Odoi, I just don't see it enough. And you can. It's not entirely his fault. A lot of times you see him flourish in the earlier stages when he was started playing under Lampard, he was doing well, but then his game time fell off. Under Tuchel, he started well. Again, his game time fell off. I don't know what it is. Either he's just not taking his chances or what, but the way he changed that game against City in the second half,
Yeah.
in the Premier League game which we just
Yeah,
won,
yeah.
I think there is a real player in there and he can step up in the big occasions. But we really need to see more from him. Either more game time or more consistency, more end product. I don't know what it is, but all of it has to be just stepped up another level to actually think about the highest potential wingers maybe there is in the world. So I'm going to put him in underwhelming. I'm really harsh here, but I want to see more from Callum Hudson-Odoi because I
Uh,
see a player in there.
yeah, I got your point. You've gone for underwhelming. I personally have gone for decent. The reason being, there was a phase. I think it was actually the phase in which Lampard got sacked. At the time, he was Chelsea's best player. Whenever he came off the bench, he scored, he assisted. Even when Tuchel came over, he started well with a completely different position. Like from being a right winger to a right wing back, that's quite a change. He did quite well. And I think that whenever he's been played, we need to also consider the fact that he's probably 19, that's his age. And for his age, for his minutes, I think he's done particularly well. You've stated your reasons for underwhelming. I personally feel decent. Chirag, what about you?
I'll put him in decent. See, guys, if you ask me to put bets right now to who will be Chelsea's best player next season, all bets will be on Callum Hudson-Odoi, much over the likes of Christian Pulisic, Hakim Ziyech, or anyone. This guy is showing me the potential. I'm telling you, he will be the biggest thing Chelsea football has produced in recent years.
That's a big
He
statement,
has
but we do get your point that he has been decent. Now, moving on. I'm not asking you all for opinions for this one because I am putting him straight to the world class category. And let me put him over here. Let me put him over here. The first name, Chelsea Player of the Season, in my opinion, deservingly Premier League Young Player of the Season. It has to be Mason Mount, world class. He is a complete package. Defending, shooting, playmaking. I think he's the only player in the Premier League who has probably like 60 plus chances created, tackles made, and shots. And he's a complete package. He's leader material. He's captain material. For his age of 22, I just don't need any more justifications for Mason Mount being world class this season. Tanish, do you agree?
I forgot 83 key passes this season, which is just an outrageous stat
Yeah.
given his age and given the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes, to which he's competing with on a regular basis when it comes to chance creation. I want to see a bit more from him in the final third because he just has 8 goals, 8 assists in the season, uh, exactly same as Kai Havertz. But on the other hand, when for the defensive output you get, the playmaking ability you get, the leadership ability which you get, people will won't agree with us because we love him and we are maybe a bit biased towards him. I'm going to put him in world class. Obviously, I rate him so highly, and I think he's Mr. Chelsea. Like inside out, like he bleeds
Definitely.
Chelsea. Uh, Definitely world class. No debate here.
Chirag, do you
oh,
agree?
there's no point of disagreeing at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Maybe if you can add one more tier above this, I'll put him there. See, when the likes of Leo Messi and Ronaldo were knocked out in the same Champions League round, everyone said that Kylian Mbappe and Haaland's time is here. They will be the next ones. But no one talked about Phil Foden and Mason Mount. Both of them, taken it in written, will be the best players that are coming. And you are saying that no one is recognizing him. I randomly met an Indian guy. We know Indian players, Indian people do not have so much interest in football. The regular ones who do not watch football, but they knew who Mason Mount is. This guy is being the talking point for everyone now. This guy will prove us every hater wrong. He will be one of the biggest thing. Definitely world class.
World class, no more discussions required. Now we can see, with the likes of midfielders, defenders being so highly rated. Now we move on to these forwards. Spent millions of rupees on them, and this is what they've done on all season. I don't know. I don't want to sound harsh, but it is what it is. Starting
They
with
might win you
Chris.
the Champions League. They might win you the Champions League.
I
This set
mean,
of group.
if we win the Champions League, it's definitely because of a defense, according to me. But moving on, firstly, starting with Christian Pulisic. Pulisic,
League.
starting of the season, had his injury concerns. Middle of the season, chipped in with a few contributions. Towards the business end of the season is when he really kicked in. His good form started to take place. But then again, in the last couple of games, especially yesterday, I don't think he's been the best of himself. Overall, seeing the entire season, I personally think that Christian Pulisic has been underwhelming. Tanish, what about you?
Yeah, 100% agree. I'm not going to disagree with, and I'm not going to take it easy with Christian Pulisic because all of these attackers are. I have no doubts that all of these attackers over here are absolutely world class on their day, but it's just that they are so inconsistent, and it's just so painful because yes, they are young and they have a lot of years, and yes, we paid that millions, those millions of money, euros
Yeah, yeah.
for them to perform over the course of 5 to 6 seasons, not just one season. I think this is where media loses it a little bit because everything is just so temporary and everything is just so current in the football climate that no one is actually bereft of criticism. But when it
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
to performing on the highest level, you just can't be so inconsistent. So Pulisic starting, I definitely think that he has had an underwhelming season. His injury concerns again rearing its ugly head at the start of the season. Uh, on his day, he's unstoppable, but I think we really need to see more from him.
Chirag, do you agree with underwhelming?
Definitely, I agree. That guy is wearing the number 10 jersey for Chelsea. No Chelsea fan has seen a number 10 jersey player performing so bad. 6 goals all over
That's
the
a very
season.
good point.
Four
That's a very good point.
four goals in the Premier League. How can you justify anything for him? Obviously, he is the most. I would rely on him in big matches, as is Tuchel, as was Lampard relying on him. But what is he providing in return? Nothing. He has played all the 6 FA Cup games. FA Cup we play against. We do not play against big teams, right? We do not have the likes of all the Premier League teams in one say. How many goals he has scored? Zero. How is that even acceptable? He has been trying. Obviously, he has room to explore or room to get better, but not the number 10 I expected him to be.
Definitely. Moving on to the summer signing from Ajax, actually was a winter signing that took place in summer. It's Hakim Ziyech. Oh, this one's a bit tough. Ziyech has had a poor season as well. Now, the thing is that he has produced some big game goals, especially the one against Atletico Madrid in the round of 16, then the one against Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-finals, and again against Manchester City in the Premier League, without which we wouldn't have had top four for sure. So Ziyech is a bit tricky. These 3 to 4 big game goals do mean something, but apart from that, with his injuries, with his inconsistencies, with his lack of playing minutes, I'm a bit confused between underwhelming and poor, to be very honest. I'll leave it to you guys. Tanj, starting with you.
I'm not going to say poor because he has scored some really important goals. We can't forget the importance of the goals that he has scored.
Yeah,
Yes, it's not enough, but that goal actually means something. That goal against Man City in the Premier League, I think that is a big reason why we have that 40 million windfall. That is the Champions League money coming into our budget.
yeah,
I'm going to put him in underwhelming because I personally love the player. I love his left foot. I love his set piece taking ability. I love his moment of magic, and I love his long shots as well. But I'm not going to go harsh on these players because this is their first season, and adjusting to a pandemic climate in a new country is actually more difficult than it sounds. I'm going to say that he hasn't been consistent, nowhere close to being consistent. I expected a lot more from him, but I need to see the best out of him next season, or otherwise he'll be running short on time because he's not as young as say a Timo Werner or a Kai
yeah,
Havertz, so
yeah.
he
It's
won't get
true.
as many chances as you would like to think. So one or two seasons max to save his Chelsea career, but this season definitely underwhelmed.
Chirag, what about you?
See, when he was signed, according to me, I was the most excited to see Hakim Ziyech because
Yeah,
the ability he has on the ball, the left foot, everyone compares his left foot with the left foot of Leo Messi. You definitely know what ability that guy has then. It has been underwhelming for me, but it is not all his fault. He has not been given opportunities consistently. Whenever he has been given, he has been proving. And according to me, he should be a starter next season, and you will see his abilities coming up with a striker in the box who he can provide assists.
right then, we move to the next and the most controversial, the most trolled, the most debatable pick over here because it is Timo Werner. Timo
Plus,
Werner
I'll
has.
try to take over. Please.
Sure, sure.
See, I have even heard one of our biggest YouTubers talking about him, and Timo Werner is the most difficult guy to talk about in this Chelsea team. If he is not playing in the team, we feel we are missing something. If he is not on the pitch, we are
And
missing
if
that
and if
element
he's
of.
playing, we feel that he is missing something.
Yeah, exactly. That is the point. That is the most controversial thing about him. If he is playing, he is missing himself. But if we are playing without him, we are missing that element where we do not have that pace, we do not have that energy. He has done everything right except shooting, and that for a striker is a very weird thing. Chelsea has a striker right now who cannot shoot but can do everything else. I think he is providing that pace, that energy. He is the troublesome for defenses who have the most experience. Real Madrid was not able to stop them because the aged legs of Sergio Ramos, your Varane, cannot stop this guy. He is running perfectly. And if you're talking about good goals by Ziyech, Werner was providing them all. All the goals were assisted by Werner. He is putting
Yeah, yeah,
great
that's
runs.
true.
And according to me, he's decent. He is nowhere near underwhelming or poor. He is definitely decent for Chelsea right now. Without him, you cannot imagine playing a match.
Decent is something that I would disagree on because of the sheer fact that underwhelming relates to expectations. Now, has Werner been good? We don't know. Has Werner been bad? We don't know. But has Werner lived up to his expectations? 100% no, especially with the big chances he's missed. 22 in all competitions. I think that's twice the number of goals he's actually scored. And if you look at those chances, you've got to be asking yourself, wouldn't Tammy Abraham score of that one? Wouldn't Giroud score that one? I personally feel with the price tag attached, with his abilities, especially finishing abilities, and the chances he's missed, I wouldn't go for poor, but I will go for underwhelming because of the expectations that all of us had with Timo Werner. Tanish, what about you?
Yeah, I'm
It's
not going to
Tanishq.
disagree. I'm not going to agree with the underwhelming statement. Yes, like he has had some crazy misses. I mean, I feel like banging my head when I see him actually try to shoot the ball because half the times I don't trust him to actually try put it into the net. But apart from that, I think he's extremely overhated, not overrated, overhated. He has, I think he's the only attacker out of all these attackers to have actually hit both, you know, what am I saying? Do
Double figures for goals and
double
assists.
digits. Sorry, double
Yeah.
digits in both goals and assists. Apart from that, yes, he has missed some big chances, and it's really frustrating for him for us to watch him play. But he is so important to our build up and our attack. That importance goes so unnoticed by Chelsea fans and neutrals alike. I don't like that simply because you are giving the criticism where criticism is deserved. I agree. I myself criticize him, but where credit credit where credit's due. That is something that I believe in, and he has been so instrumental since Tuchel came into our attack. Why are we scoring just one or two goals, and why is Timo Werner most of the, I think 50-60% of the times he's involved in the first assist or the second assist or something like that. He is involved in each and every attacking play. Most common complaint we have with strikers is that they're not getting involved as much. He's involved in bloody everything. Yes, he might not get the final delivery right, or final shot away at the most important moment, but what's encouraging to me in this first season is that he has been involved in absolutely everything. It's just a matter of time before he hits his stride and he takes the world by storm. I really believe in this guy. The chances as he has missed, I think 50 to 60%. Next season, I definitely think that he'll put them away. So decent for me, definitely.
Definitely. And when we talk about Timo Werner, you cannot forget the penalty chances he has created. He has earned the most penalties,
Exactly.
if I am right, in the Premier League. And he has been denied by the
He
VAR,
actually
by the
has he
referee,
actually in his first
most of
five
the time.
season has had most penalties won in a single season by a single player in Chelsea history. That's actually a stat, so that's quite impressive of Werner. The only reason why I
Definitely.
was sticking to underwhelming was the expectations that I had it to attached with the player. Nevertheless, we move to you could say the current third choice striker of Chelsea, another player who's very tough to judge. Probably we've seen his last game in a Chelsea shirt, a good Chelsea career, but Olivier Giroud is up next. Chirag, your take on Giroud?
Giroud has been always for me before the season as well the best substitute you can have, the most impactful super sub you can ever have. If you want a goal, you get him in, put a cross, he will put in the net. That is the game that Giroud plays for everyone. He has that ability to hold the ball, to score headers, and he has done that this season as well. We have seen he has scored some very crucial goals. The bicycle kick against Atletico Madrid, the goal against Ren, if I am not wrong, which helped us secure the top spot in the Champions League. That header when he leaped so big, he has, and his professionalism that this guy has. A World Cup winning striker is not even complaining about not playing and still adapting to the system which manager changes. That is really commendable according to me. He has been decent according to me this season, and I want him to lift the Champions League trophy for Chelsea this season.
Right then,
Tanish, your
Tanish, your take, yeah.
I'm going to put him in decent, but I think that if he had gotten more chances under Lampard or say under Tuchel, I definitely think he would have scored 5 or 6 more goals. I really feel for Giroud because that is a proper traditional number 9 that Chelsea is missing. And yes, he's 34, 35, but the importance of the importance, he scored some important goals first of all, and you can definitely say that those goals only Giroud could have scored, not Tammy Abraham, not Kai Havertz, not Timo Werner, not Christian Pulisic, not Callum Hudson-Odoi. None of our attackers could have done that. Only Giroud could have done that. But it's just he's so unfortunate and underrated with the chances that he gets with the fans, with the managers. I really feel for Giroud, and he's had a good career, good Chelsea career. He won the FA Cup, he won the Europa League, top 4
Yeah.
regulars when he after he left Arsenal. So I feel bad that he's leaving, but it's time to leave maybe. But I really
Yeah,
want
yeah.
him to see. I want to see him lift that Champions League trophy. Maybe I'm going to put him in decent, definitely.
And maybe
Yeah,
I'll
I think
also agree with him staying one more season. If he is ready to be the backup, second backup, third backup, I can agree him to stay. If he
I
can come
probably
as
I probably don't see him fit well into Tuchel's system. Nevertheless, it is a debate for discussion for another day. I would have really liked Giroud in the great category with the poker that he scored against Sevilla, with the overhead kick he scored against Atletico Madrid. Also, some very important Premier League goals. I can remember Wolves. I can also remember some winners, some
Aston Villa.
equalizers. Just the fact that he hasn't played enough on the Tuchel, especially, we will have to settle for decent. Moving on to the second controversial German attack-minded player, even more expensive this time, set us 72 million back last summer. It is Kai Havertz. Starting with myself, if I look at this season as a whole, started off poorly, and but since then it has just gone uphill. Had various concerns like extreme. I have heard he had extremely intense COVID, something like that. I'm not so sure about the technicality with it. Uh,
Hospitalized.
yeah, he had injury issues settling into a new country, into a new league. Uh, Mainly position issues under Frank Lampard. He was being played terribly out of position. He also played 49 minutes as a defensive midfielder since Thomas Tuchel has came in. I think it was one particular game. I think it was Leeds United or which one. I'm not so sure. Uh,
Crystal Palace.
no, I think it was one game in which he firstly shot the ball for a own goal. It was the first time that he was playing as a false nine, and then he also won the penalty for the second game. Then even against Crystal Palace, and then ever since, I think even against Real Madrid, he was quite decent. Even yesterday, after he came in, I think he was one of the better players. But then again, if you look at the season as a whole, I would give him underwhelming. What about you, Tanish?
I'm honestly going to give him a decent because I'm not going to say underwhelming. Yes, I expected more from him, definitely. And
Don't you
he's
think
a
that
brave
is what
player with
underwhelming is if he does not live up to those expectations? Mind you, that he is a player that was being dubbed generational talent before the start of the season. So, do you really think, look at the entire season, not just the past month or so?
let me complete it.
Yeah,
Let
Reason why
him have his own
I'm going
opinion,
to
right?
put him in decent is because he had a terrible start to the season. But what is encouraging for me about Kai Havertz is that I think Tuchel has found his best position first. Second reason, I think his finishing abilities is very good. Third, I think yes. Apart from that, Arsenal miss. I will slide. Let that slide. Apart from that, I think what I've seen from Kai Havertz has been a steady increase, a steady growth. You can say he's learning and he's getting more and more involved. He's having impact of the bench. When he starts, he has an impact as a false nine. I'm really seeing some very, very encouraging signs that people might not want to agree upon simply because of the humongous price tag that has been that has been the transfer fee. I'm not going to agree with underwhelming, and I still believe that he's a generational talent. It was just about finding his position and giving him the service. I think he'll explode next season. You can mark my words. Kai Havertz will be one of the best players for Chelsea next season, but this season I'll put him in decent.
And Chirag, what about you?
See, I think we have one vote for decent underwhelming, but see, you said yet you cannot explain the medical consequences that you had due to the virus. Being a medical student, I can tell you all the symptoms and the effects that this guy has been suffering from. The after effects that we talk about the virus, he has contacted one of the most dangerous strains of the virus, and he has been having effects till now. That definitely means that he was not 100% the whole season. And also the piling up the pressure that he's too young, he has to move from a completely different country to a new country, he has to settle in. This guy has been proving everyone wrong. Like, if you give me the opportunity right now, that if Chelsea is not able to sign a striker, I won't be so disappointed, because I know I have Kai Havertz, I have Timo Werner, who can both link up well and full up that position. Because both of them can have the ability to start for Chelsea together. And if Chelsea is to go for a 4-2-4, or for a with a two striker formation in this next season with a back four, I definitely think Kai Havertz is the key for winning us the titles. This guy has proven everyone wrong. The Real Madrid game, the semi-final game, he hit the crossbar twice. What else do you want? Timo Werner scored because of Kai Havertz. That is no denying. So he is going into a decent category according to me. And you're talking about expectations. If see, you truly ask yourself as well, the one player you thought that won't perform or is still not the best right now because due to his age, or he is a potential player, it is Kai Havertz. You never wanted him to come and score 40 goals for you in a season that he is underwhelming, according to you.
Right then, since both of y'all have gone for decent, we shall stick to decent. And we come to the last player. It is Tammy Abraham. Oh, what should I say about Tammy Abraham? We've also probably seen his last bits as a Chelsea player, which is extremely disappointing with the fact that he was our top scorer last season. He's been Chelsea through and through, came through the academy, and surprisingly so, despite so less minutes. I think he's still probably a second highest goal scorer this season, if I'm not wrong.
Joint top scorer. Joint
Wow,
top scorer.
he's a joint top scorer. Well,
No,
that's
no, no.
disgrace.
Jorginho has taken a step ahead of him.
No, I think
No,
he's
not the
talking about
Premier
all
League.
comps.
No,
He's
all
talking about
all
all
comp.
comps. Yeah,
All competition,
FA Cup,
Timo Werner has
Champions
stepped
League,
up.
and
yeah.
Yeah, Timo
Even
Werner
the
has been.
domestic cups. So with that, I think Tammy Abraham. I don't know what to say about him. Definitely not underwhelming. I would have put him in great if he had gotten more minutes, but unfortunately, that is not the case. Because of which, I will stick to decent. Tanish, what about you?
I think I'm so saddened by what has happened to Tammy. I'm just hoping, and this might sound harsh to Tammy himself, because I just hope that he doesn't have a career like Romelu Lukaku did. Like, just for us to save our face and say like we did not make a mistake by letting him go. That's how much I care about Tammy Abraham. That's how much I really love the striker. He's a proper number nine. I think I've seen signs of him being a poacher as well. Yes, he does not shoot from outside the box, but yes, he's not the best in the air, but there is a real striker in there. The goals he has scored, some of the goals which he has scored, and whenever he has played, I think he has converted a consistent stream of chances. So I don't know what Tuchel saw wrong in him, or maybe his attitude, or maybe had a bust up with him or something, but he just wouldn't give him any sort of chances. And I see him moving to a European club, say like a West Ham or something, uh, you know, to trying to relaunch his career and maybe hitting the big leagues again. But I'm really saddened by what has happened to Tammy. I'm going to put him in the decent category. I really hoped that he would have gotten more chances and created more goals or scored more goals and been a great player for us,
Yeah,
but it hasn't been so. So decent.
Chirag, do you agree with decent?
No, see, guys, defending Tuchel here, we know that Tuchel is not having any bias against any academy player right now, right? He is just seeing what happens in training, and Tuchel is very vocal about it. He says, "What I see in training is what I put on the pitch." Maybe Tammy Abraham is not putting in the numbers in the training. He is not putting up the feel in the training that that Tuchel fits him in the squad. See, definitely we need a striker who has the abilities of Tammy Abraham. Obviously, I feel bad for this guy because he had come last season. He was scoring 15 goals so something for Chelsea, if I remember. He was performing really well for Chelsea, and even if he has to leave this summer, so first of all, I will still ask Tuchel to try him in the training, try him with all his new plans, so that we do not miss out on a very big player, according to me. And also, if you are talking about missing him or something, I really feel that Tammy Abraham should be sent on a loan rather than on rather than on selling him. Send him on a top Premier League club like West Ham, or even a Leicester if they want him on loan, or any other big top 10 club in the Premier League. And see his progress. If he is not performing well, get him back, because Chelsea's manager can change any year, and you cannot just forget when you will need the likes of Tammy Abraham to score in goals. So I'll still stick with him. I'll ask Chelsea to put him on loan rather than selling, because we have a lot of dead wood to sell. We do not have to really sell him. We are not in a debt to sell him. We are not compiled to sell him. He wants a move out, send him on loan. Like Fikayo Tomori, even add a sell on clause if he wants
Yeah,
it, but
that's
do
right.
not
But
sell him.
what category would you put Tammy's current season?
I would put him in underwhelming category, because I have seen something not so good according to me. He was at 15 goal striker. You should show it in the training pitch. Football is not just restricted to the 90 minutes you play in the game. You show it on the training pitch. You show
But
prove
then
it to the manager that
Chirag,
I did that.
how do you know that he's not being good in training? Has
Because
Tuchel
Tuchel
directly
has
said
said
it?
it.
Have you been
Because
seeing the
Tuchel has
training?
said it.
Because he's not said that Tammy's not been good in the training. He's just said that the competition is over there in that position is too much for him to be there. And does training matter more than what happens in the pitch? On the pitch, he's our top
Obviously,
goal scorer. That's the end of it,
obviously.
according to me.
No, just a minute. You are saying he is the top scorer. He scored how many goals does he have? 11 or 12, right? Maximum 11 or 12, if I'm right. I'll just tell you, he has scored 6 goals in the Premier League. He has scored 4 goals in the FA Cup, and 1 goal in the EFL Cup, and one in the Champions League. It's 12 goals, right? Out of that, hat trick has been against a championship team. 3 goals are against the championship team. What else do you want? 1 goal is in the Carabao Cup. So how can you even count those goals?
I
How
mean,
can you?
there's still goals, Chirag, and then
There are still goals, but
you
definitely
need to
they
look
do
at
not
the
have
number
the
of minutes
value.
he's played. You need to look at the uh, minutes per goal ratio. It's far better than any other player over there. And I think that I just don't know if players like Havertz and all, if Tammy had gotten similar chances to them, he's probably definitely not probably finishing off the chances that Timo Werner has missed. It's we are clear
He's
that
not going to make those runs, right?
well, it is clear that Thomas Tuchel as a manager was brought in to make the best out of the two German players, which is probably stopping Tammy's development. But on the pitch, he's Chelsea's leading goal scorer, which is something that you want from a striker. I think that's all
And
that matters.
but if you both have put him in decent, I'm not like against it, but definitely according to me personally, it would have been underwhelming. But I personally want him to stay at Chelsea. Either send him on loan, or keep him, just see him in training once again, and then decide anything. Because if you're going to spend 80 million on a striker, you have a born striker in your own academy, your own bench right now. If he improves, your team is unstoppable, and you can put that money anywhere on the pitch where you want.
Okay, regardless, because of the 2-1 vote, we have gone for decent for Tammy Abraham. One last question, looking at the season overall, which category would you fit Chelsea's 2020-21 season? No explanations, just one category. Starting with, I'll start myself. I will. All depends on the UCL final. It all depends on the UCL final. If Chelsea win the Champions League final, I'm gonna go for, might sound a bit overhyped, but I will go for a world class season because it is the biggest trophy out there. If Chelsea lose the Champions League finals, it will be a direct two tier drop. I will straight away go for decent because of two finals that have been bottled, and only a fourth place finish after spending 220 million. This was my verdict. Over to you, Tanish.
Yeah, exactly same. I think if we win the Champions League final, currently we are in, I think, according to me, decent. Top four, we lost the final. Okay, same thing that happened last season. Just last season, we did not have a transfer. We had a transfer ban this year. We spent 220 million, could not get anywhere. Still the same thing. But if we win the UCL final, that's insane. Like that's really good, and we get into world class for me. So between world class and decent for right now.
Chirag, what about you?
For
Concluding.
for me, if we win the Champions League, there's no doubt world class because a Champions League winning team cannot be nothing less than world class, right? And even if we do not, it is going to be great according to me. We have thrashed the whole Madrid, we have thrashed the whole London, we have thrashed Manchester's. What else do you want? See, obviously the league position do not speak everything about that, and that is due to the transition also that Chelsea players were having, the managers we had, and everything. But definitely before the season, if you have said we are in the Champions League final, we are in the FA Cup final, I would have said, okay, I will take it any day over anything. It will be still be a great for me,
Yeah.
and we need to applaud these players.
Right then, with that, we've come to the end of the video, our first all Chelsea video on the Football Parliament podcast. It was great fun recording this one along with Tanish and Chirag. Here is how the final tier list looks like. So, thank you for listening till the end. And for more top quality football content, keep listening to the Football Parliament podcast. Thank you.